In Articulate Storyline, you have the option that you can import questions from other Storyline projects and Quizmaker files. But did you know that you can also import questions from Excel and text files? In this video, I'll show you how you can import questions in Storyline with Excel or text files. And also what you need to consider if you want to start using this in your next e-learning project. Now the first step is to create an Excel file or text file with the questions and that you can import in Articulate Storyline. Now, I'll begin with importing from Excel. So let's open an Excel file to see what the structure should be of your file. Now I've here already prepared an Excel file. You see here 5 rows and several columns. And the first row, this row is the header row, and everything in your Excel that is after a double slashes is considered as a comment by Articulate Storyline and won't be imported. So this first row is purely for structuring the Excel file and isn't imported in Articulate Storyline. Row 2, this row is my first question, and this question and also the other 3 questions will be imported in Storyline. Now let's see what you have to fill in the different columns for the row. So in column A here, you specify what question type it is. So here on row 2 is a multiple choice question. Row 3 is a matching drag and drop question. Row 4 is a multiple response question. And on row 5 is a pick one survey question. Now you can choose of 19 question types, and in the description of this video I have a link with a table to all question types that are supported. Now you can import graded and survey questions. In column B you must define the amount of points for a correct answer. Now, unfortunately, you cannot specify points for an incorrect answer. So if you want to do this, something with points for incorrect answers, you have to do it manually in Storyline when you import the questions. Now, here in column C, you see the question text, and in the columns D until M, let me scroll here, until M are the choices. You can have up to 10 question choices in your Excel file. Now, on different cells on row 2 and also on row 4 and 5 you can see asterisk signs. Now with this sign you can mark an answer as correct. So Storyline knows that this is a correct answer. Now and after the answer option and after the pipe sign you see here feedback. So this means you can have a specific feedback for each answer option. Now if you don't want it and you want to use the normal feedback that is already in Articulate Storyline, you won't put feedback in your Excel file, and Storyline uses the normal feedback, the correct incorrect feedback that is in the Storyline questions. Now on row 3 here we have a matching drag and drop question, and here the pipe sign is used to specify the choice and the match so Storyline knows what belongs to what. So we see here which countries and capitals belong to each other. So the Netherlands and Amsterdam, Germany and Berlin, these are the choice and the option that are belong together. And you see here for the multiple response question that there are multiple answers correct. So here Antwerp and also Leuven, they are both correct. And on 5 there is a survey question. So now let's look at the structure of the text file. So I'll click this away. I have here a text file prepared. Now, what you see here is comments. So the same as in the Excel file, everything behind double slashes won't be imported in Articulate Storyline, but are comments. And you see a question, everything has to be on a separate line. So the first is the format, the question type, then the points, the question, and then you have the different answer options with here the asterisk for correct, the answer option, and after the pipe sign the feedback if for specific feedback. Now if you want another question in your text file you can place it directly under the first question. So in this way you can add it in your text file. Now I prefer Excel files because it's more structured and you have a better overview over the questions. Now let's import the questions into Articulate Storyline. So I created a new Articulate Storyline file, and you can import questions on different places. So the first place is if you go to File, Import, and click here on Questions from File. but you can also go to Slides, Import, and Import Questions. Now, and let's import my questions. So here is my Excel file. I click it and click on Open. And now Articulate Storyline will read my file. And this can take a while. And you see it gives also feedback if my file is correct or incorrect. Now on line 5 I had a pick one question, a survey question, but it had a score and it was marked as correct, but a survey question cannot have a correct answer. So what I can do now is I can retry it, change my Excel file and try it again, or continue, and Storyline will skip this question. So for now I will click on continue. Storyline sees the questions and I click on import, and now Storyline will import the slides. Now Storyline created a different scene and you can't import the questions directly in a question bank. So you have to import them first into a scene in Storyline, and from there you can copy or move them into a question bank. Now if you click import, now what I've done, Storyline will import the questions, and the more questions there are in the file, the longer it takes for Storyline to load the questions in. I think that's logical. Now there are some things that you have to take in account if you want to import questions through Excel or text file into Articulate Storyline. And the first thing is question types. I told you earlier you can have graded questions and survey questions, but no freeform questions. So the layout of the graded or the survey questions is the layout of the questions. And this will also be the second point. The look and feel, all the look and feel has to be in your slide master, because Storyline creates new slides. So if you want to add extra content or a specific image per slide, you have to do it manually after you import the questions. Now, if you import 10 questions or 20 questions, this is not a big deal. But if, for instance, if you insert a couple of hundred questions, you have to do a manually work after you import questions, and this is something you have to take in account. And this also for custom buttons. Now Storyline uses the buttons of the player. Now, if you want your own submit button, for instance, or next button, you have to copy it on each question slide manually, because Storyline now automatically uses the player buttons. So this is also something to take in account when you're going to import questions in Articulate Storyline. So now you know how to import questions from an Excel or a text file into Articulate Storyline, and what the considerations are if you can use this in your next e-learning project. Do you want to learn how to create effective, engaging e-learning courses quicker and in less time? Then download my ebook where I review my personal 8-step process that I use for all my e-learning courses. And was this video useful to you? Then hit the like button below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. See you on my next video. Bye!